Recently on the Logos forums, somebody was asking about BDAG, and they were asking about these various Greek letters in these BDAG entries, and they wanted to know what exactly was this about. They were trying to read up on some literature and do some research online, and so I thought I would spend a few moments to better explain what this is all about. So in BDAG, the way that it is structured is everything is basically structured as an outline. So this section is going to be number 1 under this particular article. This is going to be number 2 in the outline. This is going to be number 2A. And then this outline is broken down even further into a 2A alpha, into a 2A beta, into a 2A gamma. So you can see here, and then again there's a B and then a B alpha. It's basically following an outline format in BDAG, but sometimes it can be a little confusing in BDAG to follow along. So there's a couple of things that you can do to make BDAG a little bit cleaner and easier when working in Logos or Coordinates for honing in on your scripture passage. So the first thing you can do, for example, in Logos is you can go to the Formatting tab and you can select Reformat under the Formatting tab, and I am running the Logos subscription, so I have the new toolbar format. And you can check the box here. This is Outline Formatting, and this was brought up on the Logos forums as well. So this cleaned things up a little bit. So you can see here, so here's part 1, here's part 2, here's part 2A, and then here's alpha and beta. It's putting everything kind of more into that outline format, and so it does make this easier to follow. Another thing that I found very useful is the emphasize. If I click on the emphasize button and select the current reference, this will allow me to hone in on my current reference and be able to see that reference of scripture highlighted in BDAG. So for example, if I go to Matthew 16:18 in my Greek New Testament here, and then if I right click on Ecclesia, and if I select the lemma form for Ecclesia, and then I say I want to look this up in BDAG, and it jumps me here to BDAG. I don't have to read this entire article in BDAG. I can just scroll down and look for my verse highlighted in BDAG, and you can see here that there is Matthew 16:18. So I can just read the portions of BDAG that pertain to my verse. And having that verse highlighted, which again, you get to the emphasize section and select current references, that's going to allow that verse to stand out at you in BDAG. And this is how I primarily use this over in Logos when I'm using BDAG in Logos. I have used BDAG in Coordinates as well, and back when I was working for Coordinates, I had taught webinars on BDAG, and I'll show you how I did it over in Coordinates. They have a similar feature where if I go to the settings menu, and on the Mac that would be under the Coordinates menu, on Windows that's going to be under the edit menu, and it's going to be called preferences, not settings. And if you're using a Mac before Ventura, it's also going to say preferences. Then if I clicked on amplify, I made sure this box was checkmarked include reference when amplifying from text to tool, and clicked on OK. And then I'm back here in Matthew 16:18 in my Greek New Testament, and I'm going to disable live click to make sure that this goes smoothly. And because I have BDAG set as my default Greek New Testament, and I'll show you how I did that, under Amplify, it's right here under Greek. Then when I triple clicked on the word, it's taken me to Ecclesia. And it's also going to take me to that scripture reference as well. So again, if I scroll down here in BDAG, that scripture reference is highlighted. And again, it's going to stand out on me because they don't have an outline format in accordance that Logos has. So I can't completely have that same format, but they do, the way they present it, it's kind of in its own little bit of an outline format, the way they had arranged the tool in accordance. But again, I'm seeing that scripture passage popping out at me. So what to keep in mind is that in BDAG, everything is following an outline format for sure. And if you, in Logos, turn reformat on and use the outline formatting, that is definitely going to make everything look a little bit cleaner for you for sure when you're reading through BDAG. But the big thing that I like is if you're in Logos, it's under Emphasize and it's Current References. If you're in Accordance, it's going to be under your Settings or Preferences, and it's going to be under Amplify, Include Reference when amplifying from text to tool. And I love this capability so that when you're selecting a word and looking it up in BDAG, that scripture reference is going to pop out at you, and you can see how it works in both Logos and Accordance. So depending on the tool that you use, you have that capability in either one to allow that scripture reference to stand out at you. And so that would be my big recommendation is start with a scripture passage before you're going to BDAG and looking something up, and allow that scripture passage to be highlighted. So that way you can just zero in on the portion of BDAG that's pertaining to your scripture passage, and you're not having to wade through the entire article and trying to figure out where you need to be. Of course, if you want to read the entire article for the fun of it, you can do that as well. But I found that this saved me a ton of time during seminary, during my Greek classes, because usually I was dealing with a passage of scripture that I needed to look up a term in BDAG. And by being able to zero in on that scripture passage, that allowed me to cut through a lot of the other noise surrounding the passage in BDAG and just focus where I needed to go. So I hope this video is useful to you and beneficial to you. And if you have any other questions on how to use BDAG, definitely let me know, and I'll be glad to produce some more videos on BDAG because it's an excellent Greek lexicon. It's one I've used frequently during my time in seminary. I cited it during my PhD program as well, and I hope that this is super beneficial to you, and I hope that you will be able to use BDAG more and benefit from it and get the real riches out of this fantastic resource. So that's all I've got for now, and I will see you all in a future video.